Jared Polin, FroKnowsPhoto.com, and this is a real-world review of the autofocus from the Canon R6 Mark III. Now, if you haven't seen our real-world hands-on preview, that is linked down below where we go into all of the specs and I give you my thoughts. We show you a montage of the autofocus working, but that is just a small portion of what we captured with the electronic viewfinder, because I captured over 6 hours of EVF footage that shows you the autofocus working in the real world, and that's why we're making this video right here, to show you more footage so you can see for yourself if the autofocus is a winner or maybe it falls short. I'll tell you right now, it doesn't fall short, and you'll see that in the footage. Here's a quick recap of what I shot. Now, of course, portraits aren't the hardest thing to focus on, but Modest Yahoo was in town, so I got his portraits, but better yet, I also got to shoot in low light situation in a concert, so you can see the autofocus working there. I shot field hockey, which is fast moving action with a lot of people on the field. Flag football, did that with a 400-2.8 to get in there close of my nephew running. Also cyclocross, where subjects are coming from behind trees or coming directly at you or jumping over different barricades. That's gonna be pretty cool. And also skateboarding, which is pretty damn erratic. You are gonna see some fantastic results from that. But before we get to the full-on montage, I do wanna remind you of a couple of things that this camera doesn't have. It does not have the Digic Accelerator processor that you find in the R5 Mark II and the R1. Those are stacked sensor cameras, which means their autofocus technology goes above and beyond this one. This autofocus technology is pretty damn close to Canon's R3, if not better, and that R3 was their top-of-the-line professional camera for a long time. The autofocus is incredible in this camera. Now, because it doesn't have the Digic Accelerator like the R5 Mark II and the R1, it doesn't have the action priority feature, which is good for ball sports like basketball, as well as volleyball and soccer. It doesn't have it, but as you're about to see in this montage, the results speak for themselves. So here is the montage. So that is pretty impressive to see that in action. And I will tell you, yes, you're watching it inside of the camera. That's exactly what you would see when you have your eye up to the viewfinder and are shooting. And I do want to add that time and time again, the pictures were continuously in focus. Whether it was a burst mode or just randomly shooting as subjects came around a tree, it hit time and time again. Like any camera, you might find some small misses here and there, but the majority of them, like 99% of them, are exactly where they need to be when they were captured. Let me jump in here real quick because I want to show you our custom Lightroom presets from FroPack 4 in action on this photo right here, starting with Blue's Clues, followed by Brooklyn. We've got C41 for all of those people who want that filmic look. We've got Copper Tone, high C, kaleidoscope, Mel Brooks, saltwater taffy, thick, and wet, hot American summer. And my all-time favorite from FroPack 1 is Skittles. With one click, it goes boom. But new and exclusive to FroPack 4, we've got 4 custom adaptive Lightroom presets called Face Enhance, Full Body Skin Enhance, Eye Only Enhance, and Background Blur. So look, if you want to speed up your raw workflow or give yourself a great starting point, or also edit on the go in Lightroom Mobile, because these presets work on JPEGs and RAW on the go, we created 14 all-new custom Lightroom presets that you can check out right now at froknowsphoto.com/FroPack4. While you're over there, you can play with the sliders to see the befores and the afters, and if you decide to pick them up right now, they are currently on sale. Or, if you want to save even more, you can get the Grand Slam bundle that includes FroPack 1, 2, 3, and 4, and of course, Skittles is included. Now, let's get back to the video. Something that's been tweaked in the R6 Mark III is it now has head and torso detection, or it's better than what was around in the past. And what that means is if you are focused on a subject's face and then they all of a sudden spin or twist or turn and go a different way, you might have lost the focus in the past, well, more so with other systems than the Canon, but now it can detect the body, the torso, the head, and so if someone turns around backwards, it knows that's the back of the head. It knows that's the body or the torso. So what it looks for first is the eye. Can it find the eye? If it doesn't have an eye, it goes to the face. Doesn't have a face, it goes to the head. If it can't figure out the rest, it goes to the body and the torso. But that is the progression that it takes, and you can see it in action, and it is really effective. One of the biggest takeaways for me with the R6 Mark III's autofocus is how fast it acquires the autofocus when a subject enters the frame. You've got cyclists coming around a tree time and time again, and it's finding them, picking them up, and allowing me to capture the results even when I'm shooting at 1.4. It nails it time and time again because I use the 85-1.4 quite a bit, and that is telling when the autofocus can shoot wide open, moving subjects coming at you or just coming into the frame. You'll notice that there's no racking, there's no pulsing back and forth trying to find the focus. It acquires, it stays on, even if they're out of the frame and they show up back in the frame, it locks on them and it's instant and it just goes. It is great autofocus. One thing I noticed when I was locked onto a subject and a distraction came into the frame, the autofocus didn't jump off of the main subject and get distracted by the distractions walking across the frame. That is a big deal because in other systems and in past cameras, you would lock onto a subject, somebody would come into the frame and it would jump to them and then you would lose your subject altogether. I didn't see that happening here. Even in low light situations, it found the autofocus. You're shooting a concert, you have a subject that is backlit and they're silhouetted. To still be able to find the subject is a big win. Even though this doesn't have the Digic Accelerator processor or a stack sensor, it still hit even in those challenging situations. And lastly, video. How is the autofocus there? I took it out to the Philadelphia Union and tracked different soccer players. It did very well tracking those subjects when they were the main focus of the frame, but when there were like 15 different people to choose from, it might have had a little bit more of an issue there. But when you were isolating a specific subject, it didn't have a problem at all tracking them. Let me cut in here real quick and say, do you struggle getting sharp quality images like these in low light situations? Well, if you said yes, I have a free guide to capturing images in low light situations over on froknowsphoto.com. Just look for this orange box, put your name, email address in it, hit send it. I'm gonna send you that guide for free. Now, back to the video. At the end of the day, the R6 Mark III is another fantastic autofocusing camera in a line of already fantastic autofocusing cameras. I personally think that Canon has the best autofocus around compared to anybody else. But with that being said, it's not like the other systems are bad at this point. Autofocus has gotten to such a point in all of the systems that they are very close. I still put Canon above everybody else, even if it's by a slight margin in some situations, but larger margins against other types of systems. But the proof is in the pudding. You saw it working throughout this. I know from personal experience how good the Canon's autofocus is across the board, whether it's the low-end cameras, which are very good, to the R6 Mark IIIs of the world, and then beyond with the R1 and the R5 Mark II. But to have autofocus that makes me question ever so slightly when I'm shooting, am I using an R1 or an R5 Mark II from time to time? It's like, if you forget that the autofocus is that good, then it really is that good. So thank you guys very much for watching. If you haven't checked out the full-on preview that we did of this camera, again, it is linked down below. Thank you very much for watching. Jared, PolinFroKnowsPhoto.com. See ya.